Hey everyone, how's it going? Are you ready for the soon-to-be-released Venom: The Last Dance? Venom's homeworld, the planet Klyntar, is poised to be explored in this installment of the movie. It seems like this movie will be taking Venom to outer space, and probably to Klyntar as well. Now, we all know that Venom: The Last Dance will be tying up the loose strings with Sony's Spider-Man universe, and well, there's a ton of pressure on the movie to do well, for obvious reasons, and clinch a memorable ending. Fans suggest that the most fascinating thing to see will be how the movie will explain Venom's origin story in extraterrestrial terms, and how Sony will achieve the same without heavily relying on Marvel lore. After all, Venom's planet Klyntar is mainly explained in the MCU. So today, folks, let's take a proverbial spaceship to outer space and explore the enigmatic planet Klyntar, the home of the Symbiotes. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Backstory of Klyntar, the planet of symbiotes. Did you know that the term Klyntar technically is the symbiote word for cage? It is also notable that this planet is not on any known maps of space. Talk about being mysterious. Also, Klyntar may have a crust and an atmosphere, but in reality, it's actually an artificial planet. It simply masquerades as one due to the development of an ecosystem that's largely symbiote-based. Coming to the formation of Klyntar, it was the Dark Elder God Null who created the symbiote hive, and then the artificial planet Klyntar. It was formed from the living abyss, and mainly served as the reigning capital of Null's empire. This served as the base of his operations during his war against the Celestials, and he was known to even devour civilizations whole. He was known to fight against the light, and was responsible for the demise of countless Celestials and other beings of the light. Not a very peaceful god, was he? Fortunately, after a point of time, the symbiotes were freed from Null's control. Yay, revolution! And they imprisoned him at the heart of the symbiote throne world. Then they named themselves and the throne world as Klyntar. Not just that, the benevolent symbiotes established the Agents of the Cosmos, which comprised various species of aliens bonded to them that would focus on maintaining order across the universe. Does this bonding sound familiar? You've got it right. Eddie Brock similarly bonded with a symbiote to form the creature called Venom. At first, we all thought it was just a costume, even with Spider-Man, although the all-black ensemble did make a lot of us suspicious. But, well, it turned out to be an alien, which bonded with Eddie Brock and became Venom. In the MCU, the Guardians of the Galaxy are shown to have discovered the true nature of the symbiote after Flash Thompson gradually starts losing control over his symbiote. It goes on a rampage and finally consumes Drax. However, it turns out to be a relatively harmless affair, since the symbiotes simply aim to relieve Thompson's venom of its corruption. Even more so, the symbiote itself turns out to be connected to a dark ancient god. As more and more facts are revealed about the symbiotes, it becomes clear why they call themselves and their planet Klyntar. Remember that bit of trivia I mentioned that said Klyntar actually means cage? Klyntar is, in reality, a joint effort by countless symbiotes who simply hope to imprison Null within his own creation, so that he can never rise again. This is aimed to counterbalance the control Null has over the symbiotes' minds, since Null birthed the hive that resulted in the formation of the symbiotes, and they're all tied together by their hive mentality to, you guessed it, Null himself. So, whatever their actions may be, they're indirectly pulling Null out of his stupor. This is seen when Carnage's action on Earth, brought by Eddie Brock, unwillingly freed Null. Rise and fall of Klyntar. As mentioned earlier, Klyntar, the planet, had a deceptive atmosphere and ecosystem, mainly symbiote-specific. Since its location as a planet is not disclosed on any maps, the Silver Surfer came to be devoured by it when he was serving as a herald of Galactus. The symbiotes absorbed and then kept him prisoned at the core of their artificial planet. Later, the Kree Empire discovered Klyntar during the Kree-Skrull War, and as a result of which they began using symbiotes to make their own super soldier program. As we know, this was a major failure, and Telkar was the one and only success they had. However, using symbiotes as weapons was not only done by the Kree Empire. It's mentioned that the Hazemancer, an alien poacher, also has attempted to do the same by abducting symbiotes. The Guardian of the Galaxies also took an unwilling trip to Klyntar. This happened when Flash Thompson's Venom headed off to Klyntar because it had connected to the hive mind. The Guardians had remarked that they were in an uncharted part of the universe, and thus had to get off the planet at once. It is then revealed that the bond between a symbiote and the host is very delicate, and even a tiny bit of chemical malignancy or imbalance can cause the bond to weaken, or even strengthen, but with disastrous consequences. There was significant damage to Eugene's symbiosis, which is what brought the Guardians as well as to Eugene to Klyntar, so that the symbiote could be cleansed of the infection. It's remarkable how the Klyntar did not try to attack or engage the Guardians in any way, and simply wanted to give Eugene a new symbiote to work with. Some may call this action the reflection of a peace-loving tribe. Can aliens be called that? But in reality, this was simply the job of the benevolent symbiotes who formed the Agents of the Cosmos. Sadly, the Agents of the Cosmos were defeated and destroyed, destroyed when Hazemancer, yep, the very same alien poacher, raided Klyntar along with the poisons. This left Klyntar virtually barren, as well as uninhabited, since all the symbiotes were abducted. Later, however, the X-Men, who were time displaced, brought back many symbiotes to Klyntar. On Earth, when Carnage's efforts began to rouse Null, the remaining symbiotes on Klyntar started falling back under his control once more. This is mainly seen when they try to attack Sleeper and want to assimilate him into their hive mind. As Null fully awakens, he destroys Klyntar completely. The constituent symbiotes in Klyntar are then turned into symbiote dragons by him. Spoiler warning, Null is finally unalived by Venom, and as a result, countless symbiotes are left behind with no real purpose anymore, since their main aim was to keep Null imprisoned in the cage they created, their planet Klyntar. Eddie Brock eventually takes on the role of a benevolent ruler of the symbiotes, but he's not an all-powerful god, nor is he trapped within Klyntar, which makes fans speculate that there will be another all-powerful entity that will be trapped by the symbiotes within Klyntar, sometime in the near future.
All thanks to the Klyntar. They gave no
Klyntar in different universes. Across the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there exist many different mentions of both Klyntar the planet as well as the symbiotes. Among the first mentions is Earth 295, where Holocaust had weeded out the symbiotes during his 7th birthday. In Earth 517, it's mentioned that Null had created the symbiotes to crush the universe, and subsequently he was defeated and imprisoned by his own creations on the planet known as Klyntar. However, he awoke later and took control of the symbiotes before he was defeated. In Earth 688b, the symbiotes were seen as parasites that possessed shape-shifting abilities and had originated from the planet Klyntar. It's also interestingly mentioned that their hive mind would transcend universes. They were mainly seen as evil, and Venom was seen as a particularly weak symbiote. In this universe, Venom had mentioned the planet Klyntar to Eddie Brock a few times. In Earth 1048, the symbiotes were described as an alien race, created by the god Null. One symbiote had attached itself to a meteor and crashed right outside of New York, where it was discovered by Norman Osborn, who forced his son Harry Osborn to bond with the symbiote to stall the disease taking him over. This symbiote later bonded with Peter Parker and granted him new abilities and extensive powers, while also changing his personality for the worse. Peter fought it off, only for it to rebond with Harry, who spawned multiple symbiotes that bonded with numerous people across New York. In Earth 1610, Ultimate Universe, there's no mention of Klyntar the planet, but it is mentioned that the Venom symbiote suit was made by Richard Parker and Edward Brock Sr., who intended it to be a cure for cancer. However, this was weaponized by Bolivar Trask. While Peter Parker had destroyed most of the sample suit, Eddie Brock had used the leftover sample to become Venom, a monster. In Earth 17628, the first Klyntar were created by the god Null to be his weapons in the war against Celestials. He had later forsaken them, and they lay dormant for years before they were discovered by a female alien explorer who bonded with them. All Black, the first symbiote, had bonded with the explorer as mentioned, and the 3 remaining symbiotes also took female hosts. They were called the Four Sisters. The 4 symbiotes kept reproducing until almost everyone on the alien explorer's planet became bonded to a symbiote. They lived peacefully for a while until a certain hermit began to say that the symbiotes would never let them be in peace and were in fact evil. After the hermit was killed by All Black, the first of the 4 symbiotes, the remaining sisters slaughtered the symbiotes and named the planet Klyntar after themselves. Here, the planet Klyntar is actually destroyed by Thanos himself after he took many benevolent Klyntar and tried to weaponize them on Planet X. His experiments made them turn into feral symbiotes. He eventually stopped his experiment, allowing the symbiotes to spread across the entire planet. The Guardians of the Galaxy visited Planet X and eventually destroyed it because of the symbiote infestation. In Earth 50101, the symbiotes are parasitic demons that can be summoned using an amulet, and their outer body strongly represents that of an Asura. In Earth TRN-461, it's again mentioned that the symbiotes were formed by Null, among them Venom and Carnage, who would try to take over Earth. However, these plans were foiled by Spider-Man as well as his allies. It's mentioned here that the symbiote race faced issues of their own, such as being taken over by Null and/or extinction, but it's not explicitly mentioned if they had formed the planet Klyntar to imprison Null. In Earth TRN-562, Marvel Avengers Academy, it's shown that the symbiotes are taken from their home planet of Klyntar to Earth by Oscorp in order to perform experiments on them. Spider-Man had attempted to send them back to Klyntar, but instead caused them to run amok in New York City. Venom had then led the symbiotes into taking over the Academy and the world. In Earth TRN-1343, Null led his symbiote army to invade Earth after being reawakened. However, during the process, he faced off with the symbiote Carnage from Earth 616, who wanted to steal his King in Black abilities. The lore of Klyntar is certainly interesting, and the fact that it also points to the actual symbiotes of the planet is something that's likely to be explored in depth in the live-action adaptation. Klyntar in the Venom franchise. As mentioned, in the comics, Klyntar is an artificial planet in the Andromeda Galaxy, created by Null, and later inhabited by symbiotes who imprison him at the core of the planet. In the Venom franchise, the symbiotes originated from the planet Klyntar alright, but 4 of them found themselves on a comet, and this was discovered by the spaceship LF-1, owned by the Life Foundation, which was searching for new habitable worlds. Riot, one of the first 4 symbiotes taken by the Life Foundation, then made plans to commence an invasion of Earth by bringing uncountable symbiotes back with the LF-2 ship. However, this was thwarted by Eddie Brock and Venom, who attacked the ship and aimed at the fuel tank, burning the entire ship. With the ship gone, the attempt at invasion was also kept at bay.
We are Venom! We are Venom! No.
Marvelous verdict. As per the trailer of Venom: The Last Dance, Eddie Brock and Venom are on the run and are being hunted by both their worlds, and the distance is slowly closing in. What will happen when Eddie and Venom can no longer escape fate and the curtains close down on them? The question here is, why are the symbiotes from Klyntar trying to hunt down one of their own? It's notable to mention here that in the comics, the Venom symbiote in particular has always been shown as kind of a misfit, very different from the rest of the symbiotes. Since the benevolent symbiotes view themselves as the protectors of the universe, agents of the cosmos, it is possible that they view Venom as less powerful, or even a completely different moral entity from them. Their aim is to bond with strong heroes and protect the universe, and in the grand view of things, Eddie Brock is probably not the hero they envision saving anyone. This could fuel their desire to return the Venom symbiote to Klyntar, as we've seen that they did with Thompson's symbiote. Then again, as we know, the symbiotes of Klyntar are hiding a dark truth behind their facade of justice and peace, and it goes back to one of the MCU's oldest villains, the Dark God Null. He's not just one of the oldest villains in the MCU, he's also one of the oldest life forms in the universe, who existed during the time when there was nothing but darkness and silence. Now that Venom: The Last Dance has shown the symbiotes of Klyntar traveling to Earth, hunting for Venom, this fascinating backstory that precedes almost anything in the MCU will probably be explored. Fans suspect that the symbiotes are actually acting out of the fear they have for Null, and have somewhat understood that he will reawaken soon, and are hence trying to make a united front against him. This begs the question, will we see a resurgent Null in Venom: The Last Dance, or will this be explored in a future sequel? Either way, fans cannot hold on to their excitement. What do you folks think the 3rd installment of the Venom series will explore? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.